on who would have believed that a little show that started during a global pandemic called what were we called? The quarantine. During the quarantine, I don't hear you, you're muted. Turned into the great transition. Friends, there
One,
are
two, 1, 2.
viruses.
Good.
Yeah, gotcha. Viruses, trillions of dollars of debt, human rights issues, politicians fighting with each other, depression. We are overwhelmed with problems, but there's always been problems. Is there something new that's going on now? Did nature in her infinite wisdom over endless spans of time make so many mistakes? Really? Nature made all these mistakes that every day we wake up and just can list from the moment we wake up to when we go to bed what's wrong with this world? Are we just capturing a snapshot in the one frame of a whole movie? There's billions of years that preceded this moment and probably billions of years after it. Are we just looking at one snapshot? And maybe that's the problem here. We're here to get answers. Where are these answers? um, that's what we're going to discover. This is the great transition. This is a special time. Humanity is moving from the animate degree, meaning we are still considered, according to the wisdom of Kabbalah, animals in clothes, into a degree that's called human, which is which we achieve it while we do live in our bodies, but is something beyond the protein level. We have a really, really interesting show today. Asaf, uh, maybe you want to say something about it, but there is while the science is actually not that new. Elon Musk is like kind of a great marketer and brought it new. There's actually science that goes back a while. We're going to talk about that interface between machines and humans and what that means for us, what it means about the soul, what it means about our future. Um, Welcome, Asaf. Welcome,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Yeah, let's do this. Let's just dive into what is it that we're diving into, actually?
Okay, so
Um,
let's put a few
what,
things.
what,
Let's
what
put a few
happened
things.
this week? Like the monkey with the chip. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
I thought maybe they had him on cocaine or something, but it turns out it was a banana smoothie. So they had a monkey, and every time he did the right thing, they gave him a shot of banana smoothie. And
Mm-hmm.
what they did was they trained a monkey to play a simple video game. I think it's called Pong or whatever. It's just
Mm-hmm.
anybody who was born before 1980 probably knows this video game. It was the video game we all had first. A little ball moves across the screen, and you just move your thing to hit the ball back. They trained the monkey to do that. And then through subsequent iterations, eventually they took away the joystick and of course they put the chip in the monkey's brain. They were mapping what was happening, when he hit it and the process. And then they put a chip in his brain and allowed through those same thoughts that he had when he got it right with the joystick, take away the joystick, and now he's controlling it with his brain.
Right.
So
So
he
basically
controlled.
the chip in the monkey brain reads the data that has to do with moving the arms, so that the monkey's intentions to move the
His
joystick.
thoughts. Yeah, I don't
His
know what you mean when you say
All
intentions.
right,
What we
whatever.
intend
Like
is thoughts.
his thoughts about moving his neural activity related
Yeah,
to moving his arms to move the
th-
joystick was
that's
recorded
right. Yep,
straight to the computer. Yeah, and
correct.
th-
Now, there's been a lot of science before this. I think the coolest thing about Elon Musk's thing is, just the style of the guy. He wants it to be easier to install. He wants it to be, consumer facing. I mean, of course, it's medically facing first, but the goal, the way he envisions technology. NASA or the Russian space program has these kind of visions of what they want to do. Along comes Elon Musk and he's like, he wants to turn it into like some consumer thing. Let's like send people to Mars. Let's do this. Hey, 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 woo,
mhm.
woo, woo. It's a totally different kind of approach to these things that existed. So for decades already, there's been science about this. You can go on YouTube and see already paraplegics who are able to control computers with their mind.
Right.
And there's been monkey, like there was a monkey. Here we go.
Oh,
This is
there
the
we
Elon Musk
go.
experiment. Yeah.
Hello,
Okay. So
monkey.
first he's yeah. There's this. Oh, Chris, leave it up for a minute. So there's other previous experiments where there's a monkey who's, yeah, there he is, taking his banana smoothie, controlling the joystick.
Right. And so there's a chip in his brain right now, right? And gradually they read the data from the chip, basically his neural
Yeah,
activity, and then he can just unplug the joystick at some point, and the data from the chip from his brain goes straight into the game, controlling the game.
correct, correct.
Right.
So there's other science out there, real experiments where there was a monkey who one of his legs was paralyzed,
Mm.
and they bypassed that part of the spine where the information went down, and from his thoughts they controlled the that part of his leg, and he was able to walk. Also, one of Elon Musk's earlier experiments, they had a pig named Charlotte. They put
Mm-hmm.
something in, and they put the pig on like a treadmill, and you could watch, as all of the brain activity as the pig goes.
Right.
So there's clearly,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just incredible. There's so much we can talk about here, and what's very interesting about it is, um, you know, what does this have to do with, we can talk about spirituality, we can talk about the development of us, before
Mm-hmm.
we get to the spiritual part and kind of open up what the wisdom of Kabbalah has to say. And if you want to jump in, please do. But what's very interesting is that there's these different parts of the brain. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
certain creatures are round, like a jellyfish or something like that.
Yeah.
They really don't have these kind of brains. But as soon as a creature has like, well, like us, or like this kind of split, then
Yeah,
like all
the
of a
like
sudden this
the
brain.
left hemisphere and the right hemisphere
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
So before that, everything was like round, and then when it
Mm-hmm.
splits, like the brain splits, and all these different things start happening, and there's different parts of the brain. So I wrote down a few of them. So it comes up off of the spine, right, and then you have the back part of the brain, the hind brain, the midbrain, and the front brain. The front brain is the part where you're like, your wife comes in and she's like, "Do you like this dress?" And you don't, and you're like, "That's a beautiful dress." Like that front part is like strictly the
Yeah.
humanish
Yeah,
part.
it's
The
and it's the like the direct, like, here and now, present thinking, solving problems right here and now. For the
the
prefrontal
executive
cortex.
brain,
Yeah.
right? And he's capable of um, saying things he doesn't really mean, or do like all of the humany kind of stuff.
Right.
So before that, you're dealing with your senses, digestion, swallowing, temperature regulation, motor control,
Uh-huh.
circulation, body. So all of that kind of more primal stuff, literally, we still have our animal brains, which is very, very much operating on us. So all of this stuff. So anyway, the brain is wild.
Yeah.
What's going on in there,
Yeah.
and by
Very, very
looking at it,
interesting.
yeah, you really see how much of what's going on for us are these unconscious processes,
Mm-hmm.
which starts to make us, the more you get into this, um, so you see like what is controlling us, and what is the brain more like a modem, is the
Mm.
brain running some kind of software, what's going on there. So
Yeah.
what I'd love to open up with you is just if you can just kind of throw some paint on the wall
Mm.
and talk about what comes to your mind about Kabbalah, about spirituality, about the soul. I mean, if
Yeah, I think the question that comes up is like, where is how much are we our brains? How much of the human is actually that goo, those 100 billion neurons or whatever that are firing all the time. Is that what is us? Is that us? Is that the human? And so if you can tap into those neurons and interface with them with a chip, and read the data, let's say all of it, into a computer, does that mean that you have now copied the human into a computer? There's all these thoughts about mind uploading as well. This is something Elon Musk has been talking about as well. Like the idea that we'll be able, like as this technology advances, people will be able to copy their memories and their whatever's in the brain that we relate to our characteristics and our traits, our behavioral properties, and so on, and copy that and, put that on the cloud somewhere. And then this brain of yours can live, this mind of yours can live forever.
We're so
Um,
full of ourselves, huh? What are we gonna do? Watch
no,
Netflix for the
but
next million years.
no,
What do we have to do that's so important that we need to stick around? So,
yeah,
okay,
but no,
fine.
but here's the thing though, like to let's kind of put a foot in the door here kabbalistically, right? So
Yeah,
the okay, let's sorry, I threw in this mind uploading tangent, but I'm just gonna go with it because maybe it's a good example. So we're thinking about uploading, like uploading um, our our brain, but that if we do that, maybe we'll be able to do that. I don't know if we'll come to that state
there's
before
a
or
hold on.
yeah.
Another study from a bunch of years ago where there was one rat in one part of the world and another rat in the other part of the world, and
Mm,
one rat figured out how to like go through a maze or something like that. And
mm-hmm.
over the internet, however they did it, they connected this rat with the other rat, and the other rat like knew what the other rat knew.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
so the
I remember
thoughts
something like that. I remember
so
something like
so
that. Yeah.
so two things. One thing is the monkey is controlling it with his thoughts, and the other thing, so that's like a monkey communicating with a computer. The other thing is one rat communicated with another rat. I mean, there had to be a wire between those two, uh, but these things are traveling through the air all the time. That's kind of, I'm going on a tangent now, but if you can control a video game with your thoughts, what else are we controlling or not, all day long with our thoughts without really understanding
Yeah,
what we're
that
doing?
okay, so that's another question.
Let's save that one for like another 30 minutes from now,
Uh,
because that's
okay. Okay, so back to the mind uploading then. So this idea of let's take the human mind, copy the data, upload it somewhere to the cloud. Even if we manage to do that in some years from now, um, are we actually copying the human? So I would say this would be it would be some AI, some form of artificial intelligence that could respond to and reflect who the like the brain of who that person was in a way that might be even convincing, but we got the whole uploading and downloading all wrong. If you look at it kabbalistically, because what we're doing right now is that the mind is already uploaded. What we're doing right now is we are downloading it into a corporeal experience. That's what's actually happening if you look at it kabbalistically. Meaning, it's not like we have our mind here, our corporeal mind, our physical mind, and we want to upload it to a virtual, non-physical, eternal digital form so that it can live on forever. But the mind that actually gives us that we come from is already a virtual, spiritual,
the whole the whole
non-physical mind.
perfect the whole perfect movie already exists, called The Light, for example,
Hmm.
and our whole evolution is just about the process of making a better and better modem.
We the mind uploading thing, right? It's like we're saying, like you said, we want to live forever to watch Netflix or whatever it is, right? It's like we want to
No, maybe
overcome
visit Thailand or the Great
whatever
Wall
it
or
is, but the idea is, why do we get excited about this idea?
scuba
because
dive.
because it means that we can overcome human mortality, right, by uploading our mind to the cloud. But the truth is that we are now operating from a piece of our spiritual eternal mind that was downloaded to this corporeal experience. That's
Right.
what
So these parts of the brain, right? Those parts of the brain. At first, when you just had the, oh, I wish I knew the names better.
medulla
The base,
oblongata,
yeah, all that stuff,
the
right? So you're
elongated
only
brain. Yeah.
your modem is your brainstem. Your modem only is able to like take in like these fight or flight things and survival things and whatever. And then as it develops, your modem is able to download like a bigger part of the story. And then and then it gets to where we are now, and we have the ability to really sort out everything and start to understand everything. We're at the point the hardware is
Mm.
kind of completed. Now we need like an operating manual, but the to what you're saying, it's reversed, exactly reversed. Everybody wants to upload themselves into an already complete, endless
I mean,
reality.
I appreciate the. I think it's very cool that some people are thinking hard about, wow, like this technology may be able to give us eternal life. That I think it's cool that humanity, is now thinking about it. It's interesting that it goes into the conversation in a way. People are technology and this digital age that we're in helps us get used to thinking about these ideas as realistic. Maybe there is a way we can be eternal. Maybe there is a way we can transcend time, space, and motion. Maybe there is a way that we can operate our thoughts, use our thoughts to operate things in the world directly. It kind of it helps us. It leads us to ask these questions about what are we really? Who are we really? What are we
So
really made of? That's
if
why I
you
think it's
if you
interesting. Yeah.
if you sorry for cutting you off again, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so
go ahead.
excited. You can replace your knees, you can replace your hips,
Mm-hmm.
you can get a lung replacement, a heart replacement. And Yetzi de Jager says, how much of our brain can we replace with technology and it will still be us?
Yeah,
Like if I
exactly.
replace my hips, it's
Okay.
still Seth,
Okay,
right?
great.
If I get a kidney replacement, it's still Seth. Is there a point
Yep.
where I've replaced so many parts, or if my brain is I don't need to think about, all my toilet paper arrives on time, my shampoo arrives on time, like all of my needs
Mm-hmm.
come when I need them. So then what's left of me? Who am I?
Okay.
So
So good. So thank you, Yetzi, for this is exactly the question we needed, I think. Here's the thing. We probably will be able to replace theoretically, I don't know how long it will take until it's applicable, but there's no reason why we won't be able to replace everything in this body with in our biology with technology. Like you said, limbs and internal organs. And yes, the more we understand the brain and reverse engineer the brain and so on, sure, let's say that possible. The question is really what then happens to the human? And this is where we can come in with a Kabbalistic perspective and explain this. This material body that we think we live in is just how we currently perceive ourselves. The substance that we're truly made of is not this body. The substance that we're made of is a non-material substance called desire. Now, technology, the more we can see that, wow, technology can replace our hands and our heart and our brain, even, that will help us get to the conclusion that we are not our bodies. That does
this
that
is incredible.
does that
There's
make sense?
this is okay. So there are cases of a person who lost a hand, and you can see it on YouTube, who doesn't have a hand, and they give them an artificial hand, right? And in the future, it still kind of looks like a robot hand, but you can imagine that soon it could probably look really very much like a human hand, and it can be controlled by the mind.
Yeah. Yeah. But
So if you can control a limb with your mind,
hmm
it's a robot limb. So, you just start removing parts and controlling them all with your mind. And
so
what's
that's another aspect. So this development of technology and more specifically this realm of merging our biology with our technology is helping us. It's leading us to see that we are not our body. That's one, and that we can do more with our thoughts and with our intentions, with our unseen, non physical um, forces that we actually knew we can. We're gonna get into a realm. It's all part of the great transition. This whole technological merging with machines type of thing, transhumanist kind of phase. It's all part of us realizing who we really are, what we actually are, and that there is a realm of thoughts, desires, and intentions that is detached from our bodies, and it works on a level of nature that we need to explore, that we need to unearth and discover. The we are the truth is that I don't want to say the soul here. Let's just throw it out there for a second. Let's say the soul, but the true essence of the human is not this body. This is the thing. It's not our body. And it's interesting that technology is helping us get used to that idea, gradually digest this idea.
So Francine Zabawa said, do you think with enough pattern recognition, our, Alexa and Siri and Google
hmm
will have enough data to anticipate most of our needs and free us to do things? And I saw a story. Amazon now has a thing. It's like a scale that you put in your house, and you put for example, your dog food thing on it, and you just scoop out the dog food every day. And once it gets to a certain weight, it
hmm
knows that you're low, and it
hmm
replenishes it. And you'll do the same thing for your
Right.
milk and your
This
shampoo or
is,
whatever.
I think they call it
Just
IoT, Internet of Things. This is part of it.
right.
Like,
So
yeah.
imagine if
hmm
all of our needs stuff um, goes away. Like the need to do all of those things kind of goes away. So what's left? Are we destined to merge with machines, and then, like, is that inevitable, that all of those kind of necessities of ours that require so much of our time will just be taken over by
hmm
machines?
Here too, I would start from how cool is it that people are beginning to consider these ideas? Why? Because the desire here that's acting behind the surface is for humans to get an upgrade. There is some there's a lot of people excited about this idea that we are supposed to that we're bound to merge with machines, that they call it the transhumanism movement. This idea that we are just, I think, there's a quote from one of those thinkers who says like that humans are just the reproductive organs of the AI, right? Like we are, yeah, like
Like the
we're a
Matrix.
stage, we're a stage in evolution, and AI ultimately we're merging with our biology is merging with technology, but ultimately the technology will not need the biology even, and it can live on its own. So these ideas that a we need to go through some sort of a software upgrade, and B, that we are evolving into something new. These are correct. Kabbalistically, this is true. This is what's happening. Humans, and that's really where we're coming to in the Great Transition. In this century, we're starting to go through a software upgrade. The thing is that it's not our biology that needs to change. It's not our it's not our brains or our arms or our eyes that need to be enhanced. It's the inner program that operates our desires and our thoughts. It's very technical if you want to get, how deep you want to get into Kabbalah here, but we need to install a new program, a new intention, that will then redirect all that we do, think, and feel. We need to acquire nature's program. So we're not going to merge with, maybe we will merge with technology to an extent. With your phones, we're already kind of merged with technology, right? This thing doesn't leave your sight. You think through this. You ask a question from the global database of humanity. We call that Google, whatever, but
So
you're kind of,
let me ask
you
you. So
think through that.
suppose
Yeah.
what they're saying really is, from the little bit of the research I did on this, what they're saying is the problem is bandwidth. Because to get an answer here, it's just like as fast as I can type, or like as fast as I can speak, and then I get an
Mm-hmm.
answer, right? So the idea is like, I want to know how many centimeters are in an inch because I need to order something for whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Europe, and they only do it in centimeters. So instead of me having to Google it, like, I'll just automatically know because I can just ask Google in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could ask Google in my mind how many centimeters are in an inch, like, it can already, and then I can just order it also in my mind. So if it's just about bandwidth and we remove all of that, thumb typing, what is the value to life? Okay, remove all of the bandwidth, right? Like, you don't need to go to school anymore. What did you learn in school? What year the pyramids were built, and what year, the French Revolution, and
Mm-hmm.
what year was this. And okay, now I know everything. I can know
Mm-hmm.
everything that's on the internet in
Yeah,
in
it's
a in a second.
it's
So
almost like the
now,
the Matrix thing where you download, I know kung fu. Yeah, that.
so
Yeah.
what is the value of my life now if I
Mm-hmm.
know everything? Okay, tomorrow I know everything. Now what
Yeah,
do I do?
well, you're basically, the question you're raising really is, what's the purpose of all of this merging with technology? So, Elon Musk will tell you, well, I'm gonna uh, be able to allow paraplegics to walk again. So here's a benefit. That
Okay,
so in
that's okay.
so in
I
the
can get behind that.
okay, so in the physical world, technology represents our desire to go above our limitations, to go above our physical limitations. That's really where it's coming from. We want to overcome geography and be able to talk to each other right now, even though I'm in Israel and you're in New Jersey, and we use technology to bridge that gap. So right now we feel like we're in the same room, and we are able to communicate above the limitations of time, above the limitations of space, right? When you want to keep your food cold so it doesn't get bad, and you build a fridge, and that allows you to do it. So we take the laws of nature, and we find ways with our technology to overcome the limitations that they are posing at us. That's in the physical world. But the goal of human development is to rise above the physical world, and technology cannot take us there. Technology can make our life theoretically better in this world. I'm saying theoretically because with all of the so-called benefits of technology come risks, and come addictions, and come a whole host of problems that come from the fact that our incentive to create technology is polluted with self-benefit, and that creates a whole host of problems. It's not just that technology is used to better mankind. No, there's all kinds of interests that we have to ruin each other's life on the way. Weapons, one example. So um, the goal of technology can only be in this physical level of existence. It can never take us higher than this level. For that, we're going to have to go through a spiritual upgrade. And that's what human society is getting into. in the great transition in the 21st century. But technology, and more specifically the digital world, the virtual digital cybernetic realm, is Kabbalist Dr. Lightman once said that the virtual world is like an intermediary stage between the physical world and the spiritual world. And that's what we're seeing now. It helps us get used to the idea that we can live in what's a digital space? It's non-material, right? What is this internet that we're all connected to? It means that you're connected, all of us are connected to a single collective system at the same time, always online, kind of thing, right? That these things, these properties are similar to our existence in spirituality. In spirituality, we are a collective being, always connected, always dependent on each other. There's no space, distance, time, motion between us. We're all interconnected pieces of the same collective being that is eternal, that is non-material. And we are gradually, building our grasp for this existence through these technological gadgets that
Come back, come back to Earth for a minute. You just
Okay.
set a very, very high bar, and I want to get there, but I want to come back to Earth for a second, and then and take
Sure.
some steps to get there. So with the technology, go back to Elon Musk's technology. Some
Yeah.
of these kind of chips that other scientists are using as well. So the deal is that you put this in, right, to the cortex, to the top of part of the brain, okay, and you start to read signals,
Yeah.
because all of our emotions, all of the feelings, all of the thoughts are recorded as electricity in the brain. And you
Yeah.
can start to receive them and record them and
Yeah.
identify patterns in them. And then, of course, we talked about the fact that you can also then stimulate it, right?
Yeah.
Um, so here's the thing: whoever's making these chips, right? They have an idea. First of all, we're limited by money and maybe technology and science and machines and whatever we use to make the stuff. But also, you can't really. You got to have an idea. Someone's got to say, like, let's make this. And the ideas of what the guys are coming up with, let's make this. Like, let's. So it's very noble. Let's make a person who's blind be able to see. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Person paraplegic, like, let them walk. Like, that's super cool. But Chris, do you have that picture I sent you of the human cell? Here's the thing: these chips, they have. Okay, this is unbelievable. Can you make, is that as big as we get? So this isn't a painting. It is the most detailed image of a human cell to date, obtained by radiography, nuclear magnetic resonance, and cryo-electron microscopy. If anyone is interested, Google this. This is
Can you
incredible.
zoom in a little bit,
This
Chris?
is this
I
is
can't. It's kind of. It just gets
Yeah, there you
nasty.
go.
I
There
mean,
you go.
it
I'm
yeah.
gonna keep it
it
like
looks
this.
like a whole,
Okay.
okay, it looks like a city. This is a cell.
Yeah.
This is one cell.
Yeah.
So
Incredible.
yeah. So no matter what a person, any scientist or team of scientists or international team of scientists comes up with, it'll never be more intricate and harmonious and eloquent and exquisite. It will never be more than one human cell. Even the machine of the human body,
Mhm.
this machine that nature developed here, is so exquisite, and we're like, playing a piano with a hammer basically at this point still. And the point is that instead of trying to chase down nature to try and find, like, with a hammer, how to bang out a melody, like you said earlier, like, instead of trying to upload ourselves into nature, if we understand what we're trying to download, if we can tap into this
Yeah.
hive mind, if we can tap into the mind of the what created that, what made a cell like that, it's insane. It's
Right.
like mind-boggling to think of the complexity and how many things are
So
firing in the brain.
right. So we are, so with our technological endeavors, we are trying to reverse engineer nature and
But we only see so
slowly,
little. We only see so
painfully,
little of the whole thing.
with very limited understanding of nature, with very limited vision of nature, we gradually try to piece together the picture bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, right? But what if there's a way? That's what we're coming to. What if there's a way when we where we
There is a way.
exactly, where instead of trying to just piecemeal, a little bit of the understand, a little bit here, a little bit there, we can just plug into nature's program. That's where we're going. Now, that's the next level of human evolution. That's what's going to happen. That's the upgrade that human beings will go through. This is the merging. Human beings are going to merge with a new program, but it's not going to, but we might, maybe we'll put chips in our brains and all kinds of things. It might happen in the future. It's very, very realistic. Looks like that's where it's going, but that's not going to plug us into the mind of nature. In order to do that, we need to go directly. We need to go directly into merging with the programs of nature. And that will also reorganize our inner structure and our outer structure. It will change our society. It will change our purpose in life. It will change our the way we enjoy, the way we experience ourselves. We're talking about a whole different level of human experience. That cell that has a city built into it, right, with all of that complexity and harmony and checks and balances and incredible diversity and complexity that works together to create something that's alive. That is the most exquisite program that exists, the program of nature. We are made out of that program as well. We are the only conscious beings, however, who are conscious to and have the potential to consciously tap into the program, to consciously acquire the program, install it on ourselves in a participatory way. That's what Kabbalah is talking about. That's what the great transition will force us towards, will push us towards. That's where evolution is going.
Now talk to me about
Wait, but I
desire,
do want to
because
say again that it's cool that people are now, thanks to technology, are considering the idea that maybe we do need an upgrade. There's already in this transhumanist movement that some people are proponents of.
Just tell me what transhumanist means, because
transhumanism, right?
What is it?
So we see these Neuralink chips in monkeys, and we see people controlling their limbs with their thoughts and things like that, and we see that people have iPhones and it doesn't leave their sight, and we think through that, and we design through that, and communicate through that, and so on, right? So transhumanism is the belief, basically, or the ideology that we are gradually we're destined to merge with technology, and even further than that, technology is the next level of evolution, and it might not even need our biology. So I'm just saying that in this thinking that a lot of people subscribe to, there are some correct inclinations from a Kabbalistic perspective. There's this idea that we need to merge with a new program is correct. It's just not, technology is not the end. It's not the next level of evolution. It's connecting with the technology of nature, connecting with the program of nature. But anyway, I find it very interesting how nature works, and we think technology is not outside of nature as well. Technology is another it's not a cause, it's a consequence. It's a manifestation of the program of nature. It's just like individual species, insects, bees, ants, how they developed a hive mind over millions of years or whatever. Just that is a certain technology. It's a technology of nature. When we do all kinds of things with our chips and monkeys playing video games with their thoughts and iPhones and the internet and all that, we are like cells gradually building a hive mind. We are gradually building our existence as a superorganism. We're gradually building a connection between us. But technology is not where it ends. It's just a phase. The inner technology is where is where we're gonna go. Is where we're actually going.
So
Anyway,
so
yeah,
now let's get now let's approach the spiritual and talk about this thing called desire, which you said or alluded to earlier as the
yeah,
building block of reality. Um,
yeah.
and it's how the creature develops. Really, everyone, you take a few minutes and just Google something about how the brain and the different parts of the brain and what kind of creatures had different parts of the brain and how our brain developed until we came to speaking and the ability to have so many words, right? Like
Mm,
there's other whales sing beautiful songs,
yeah.
and parrots and monkeys can communicate. And my brother's old dog used to be able to say hi. I think he could say like two words or something like that.
That's cool.
But
How do you
but
call those kind of dolphins? I think orcas. Orcas. You think they're called?
orcas, I think black and white. It's a big whale.
Yeah,
Like
they have a language that we actually can't decipher at all. Like we can't. I mean that they have. Of course, we can't understand their words, but it's a language. So they're it's something, but still it's not nearly close to the level of the complexity that human language has. But anyway,
right,
yeah,
we
it's
have the
interesting.
ability, right, and we have this ability to say one thing and mean another. We have the
Right.
ability to say the same word, um, and it can mean different things. So, and that's all as a result of the development of our desire of what we
Hmm.
want. If we woke up in the morning and all we wanted was to procreate and sleep and eat, we wouldn't have this. There'd be no need to develop all of this language. So, as our desire develops, as nature actually, not us, like uploading ourselves onto nature, but as nature is downloading itself onto this piece of hardware.
Exactly. Nature is. Wait, say that again. Say that again.
So
Nature is gradually downloading
down
more and more bits of this
onto this piece
software
of hardware.
onto this piece of hardware. Exactly. That's what's
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
And
And that's
so
that's
it
why all of human evolution is a process. We're not actually evolving. We are discovering what we are and what
the
nature
mach-
is and who we are and where we are.
right,
Anyway.
the
Yeah.
machine becomes more and more capable of downloading and deciphering what is happening until the machine kind of merges with the program.
Yeah.
Um, that's the goal.
Mhm.
So it's all based on desire from our side, because from our side, you brought up desire earlier, and
Yeah.
it's always in the wisdom of Kabbalah. It sounds so trite and just like desire. What is it? But you, we talk about it as the substance of all of reality.
Yeah.
So it's hard because we
Well,
have
it,
this
it,
simple
it
language,
it's
desire,
not
but
it's not intuitive for us to look at reality as desire. Everything in reality, the computer you're looking at, the microphone you're talking to, the plant here next to me, then the monkeys that we are, the monkeys that exist elsewhere, and our thoughts and desires and our innermost aspirations. All of it is desire. Reality is a desire. The substance that reality is made of is a desire. It's not intuitive for us. It's counterintuitive for us, even because of our limited senses. But if you look at a lot of the science that is trying to figure out what reality is made of, most most notably the quantum mechanics that looks deep and deeper and deeper into matter, then then you start seeing that reality is non-material, that reality becomes very weird when you start delving into what it's actually made of. So there's a difference between the only difference here is the only matter is or problem is a problem of perception. That's the thing. It is a problem of perception. But we humans have the potential, have the ability. It just needs to be developed consciously. We have the ability to tap into that non-material realm. It's not going to happen through any devices that we build, because any devices. One second,
Raina,
okay, yeah.
Raina in India asks, will technology help us climb the 125 spiritual degrees?
No.
Consciously
mechanical technology, no. It will help us, lead us, and help us understand that this is what we can do with our inner technology. Because why is that? I was just getting there, right? Thank you, Reina. Because all the technology is doing is it enhances our already physical senses. Technology exists. Our external technology.
I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Very simple. Our technology can't touch our desire. Very simple.
No, but how does it help the desire? What does it do in relation to the desire?
I don't understand what you're
okay,
saying.
So all of a sudden we see that there's the monkey can control something. So what is this doing? What are we learning from this? What does it benefit from us?
Okay, I think I know where you want to take it. So the monkey is a desire too. The human is also a desire. What's the difference? You can say monkeys also have a technology. There are very developed, monkeys that they make tools to get their food. That's also a technology. What is it that makes the difference? Why is our technology so exponentially more complex and has this infinite, this amazing realm of possibilities to develop and so on? That is because our technology is an expression of our desire. The monkey has a desire to eat, sleep, rest, enjoy life. The human has a burning desire that we're not even aware of to rise above the shattering, we call it in Kabbalah, to rise above the limitations of time, space, and motion. That is the only reason, and this alone, the reason we have this kind of desire is the only reason that we are able to come up with technologies like the internet and all of those gadgets that we think about merging with now and all of that. It's because the human has a desire. Technology is a consequence and not a cause. That's why it can only indicate what kind of desire we have, but it doesn't, and it can help us clarify and understand what is it that we actually want, what is it that we actually are, but it can't take us there. Does that make sense?
Super clear. It's super clear. Yeah. So when we see, right, we can say, we did a show on the power of thoughts, and we can say, well, thoughts control everything. We've written and said many times that the reason for the coronavirus is because of our destructive thoughts or destructive desires towards each and every one. So
go ahead. You're inviting tangents here that can
bring it on easily. Let's go.
Because why do we say that, right? Because COVID is a program. A virus is a program. Ask any virologist; they'll tell you that a virus is basically a program. It's not even actually exactly a living thing. It's a very interesting thing. It's literally a program packaging protein. So we're talking about merging with the program of nature, right? The virus is a part of nature's program that was downloaded into humanity in order to help us, adjust us, nudge us a little bit towards our next level of evolution. That's what's really happening. To us, in our material, limited, narrow, short-sighted experience, it appears as a pandemic, and we get sick, and we were afraid, and there's turbulence in human society. But it's a program that is downloaded now at this point of our evolution in order to shape us a little bit more, shape us up towards the next level of evolution. That's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a program that carefully and meticulously and beautifully and motherly nurtures us and develops us bit by bit by bit, with all kinds of twists and turns, until we can make a move on our own. That's the only difference with humans and other animals. With other animals, nature just goes, develops them, and that's it. They have instincts. It's all automatic. With humans, it's difficult. It's like nature works with us just like we work as parents towards our children. We want them to grow up, but we always want them to make a step on their own. We want them to grow. Where do we get that kind of modus operandi? Why don't we treat our kids like robots and just try to get them to, just like be a soldier, do exactly like that? We don't want our kids to be robots. That is that's coming to us exactly from how nature treats humans. That's how we treat our children as well.
What we want from our kids, we want them to do what we ask them to do, because they start to relate to us and care about there's certain times we just want them to, damn it, just do what I said. But sometimes when they risk themselves, or when they cause too much troubles for others, you just want them to do what they, you send them to their room. Isn't that what COVID has done to humanity a little bit? So that's part of the program. Yeah. Okay, so there's part of the program, but the better way, the ideal way, is that the child learns through some kind of education and then starts to understand what you're trying to give the child. You don't want your child to be like a robot. You want your child to understand, my dad wants the best for me.
Right.
That's why he's telling me this, and I should do this. And even though I don't want, right, the front part of the brain is developed because through the reconciling of the opposites and growing. Okay, so I don't think actually, very interesting, the front part of the brain doesn't fully develop until into the mid-20s. So sometimes we look at kids and we think they're like, why does he learn? And no,
they just don't have that part in it.
There's a whole experiment with they put a marshmallow in a room with
I know that one.
Kid.
Delayed gratification is a great one.
They say to the kid, like, if you don't eat the marshmallow, when I come back in the room, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. But they don't. The more, and it turns out, the more the prefrontal part of the brain is developed, the more the child's able to withhold, to wait, to delay the gratification.
Delay gratifications. Yeah,
it's just about the animal. Part of itself. So here's another question from Shannon. Will we disappear before climbing the spiritual ladder? Will will our protein machine hardware disappear before we reach spirituality?
Yeah. Hey, Shannon. That's actually a cool question, because ultimately, we are non-material. This material world does not exist. I understand it sounds delusional, but talk to physicists. A lot of them say that if you really, research reality, it's a necessary conclusion. But let's put that aside for a second. So our world is a current level of perception that we're in. That's what's happening. Now, we need to begin to live in the non-material realm while we live in this world as well. It's the difference between physicality and spirituality that we need in order to be conscious beings. So this world, this level of perception called the material world, is important to our spiritual development. It's purposeful, it's deliberate. We need that. But when we finish climbing up the ladder, all of humanity, this whole creation, this whole collective created being that we are, then there's no more reason and There's no more need for this material level of existence. It's like, it's like, I don't know, like a baby that grows up into an adult and doesn't need anymore, the kind of toys they were playing with. Think about it that way. Um,
Can I
and
ask you
th-
one more question? I got
yeah,
another one here.
let's try to do what's the question situation. Maybe we can
Yeah, there's
use a
a
couple of
trying to
minutes
ask
to.
him
Yeah.
as in the flow with the conversation. Maria Bolger, it's kind of a comment question. Isn't it worth mentioning that it is even scientifically measurable that love or the lack of love, egoistic or not, affects the lower levels, the flora and the fauna?
Yeah, there is some research that I am aware of, but you know what? It's interesting to see whether there's been more developments in that. But certainly the flora and fauna, the still, even too, the still vegetative and animate levels of nature are all
Break it down for hold on, wait,
influenced. Yeah.
break it down. You said it real fast. There may be people who are just kind of joining. So the still, the vegetative, and the animate, and then human would be after that. So the
Right.
prior three degrees of material
Yeah,
reality.
right. Because
Okay,
Kabbalah
you said
divides,
it very fast. So
yeah, Kabbalah divides all of nature, all of reality to these four levels. They're actually levels of desire. They're all interconnected. So, and every higher level influences is the lower levels because they're included in it. So, right. So even if you think about us humans, we we're not our body. We are the deeper force called desire, but the still vegetative and animate are part of us. Even if you look at our body, we have hair, we have flesh, we have bones, and so on, and atoms and molecules comprise us. And so, but because we are the highest level, we influence all those other levels. And even without, I know, again, this sounds weird, but even without gas emissions and CO2 going to the air, and pollution of the ocean and whatever, even without all of that external activity, only through our inner activity and the correct connections between us humans on this human level, we influence the lower levels as well. I think that's what the Maria meant, didn't she? So yeah, it's because on the desire level, we're all connected. We're connected to all of nature. It's all part of us. It's
I
us.
wish I could. I wish
Yeah.
I could understand my thoughts a little bit better. This concept of that the monkey is controlling something on the screen based
Mm,
on his thoughts. Okay,
yeah.
so he's thinking something, and something else is or yeah, he's thinking something, and something outside of him is responding based on his thoughts. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just that alone should make everyone pause and realize that everything we're thinking all day is affecting our reality. All of a sudden you're going through life and you start getting a thought about your mom. All of a sudden you're going through life and you start thinking about a client. Like, this show isn't about telepathy, although there's like a lot going on with more subtle things that we will eventually get to. But we exist in a network. These are real signals. Now, people could be psychotic and have all kind of voices in their heads. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a healthy, stable person who is feeling the system. I mean, everybody's walked into a room and the air is so thick, or everyone has felt fear in a room, or everyone has walked into a room full of love and you feel the energy, right? These are all real sensations.
Mm-hmm.
So we're
We're just detached. We're very, as the modern person, I mean, is very far typically from the inner realm. We're very much focused on the outer realm and the material
and
world.
what do we gain by
Yeah.
all that? What did we gain by detaching ourselves from all of nature? What happened to us?
Why did it happen? Because our ego had to grow. Sense of detachment from the natural program had to happen, because
Why?
that allowed us independence. And now when we're independent.
Independence from what? Independence from what?
From nature, from being just like an instinctive animal that just follows the natural program. Look at monkeys, look at bees, look at fish. They're completely balanced with the program of nature. They don't take more than they need. They don't pollute the planet. They're no, not necessarily. The cells in your body distribute the ATP, which is equivalent to money in their world. The ATP is a molecule that is basically the energy currency of the body. They distribute it not in a communistic way, by the way. Some cells have a lot more than others, but they all use what they have, the resources that they have, with the same incentive, the same intention, which is to bestow health and balance to the whole body. Now, for us, we've grown far from that program of balance and peace and wholeness and integrality. And perfection of that nature. We've grown independent from it, because now with this independence we have consciousness, and we can, in the great transition, begins the next stage of human evolution, where we begin to independently, consciously re-enter the program. And then that will be very different from just being like ants that follow their instincts. We will be following nature's program, but we will download it into us consciously, So in short, let me I would say maybe we should do another episode on this. I don't know. But you know what I mean? But we're gonna move from digital technology to spiritual technology. We're gonna do, instead of AI, artificial intelligence, we're gonna develop spiritual intelligence. We're gonna move from the internet to the internet, to the inner network of desires and thoughts and intentions that connects all of mankind. And instead of merging with computer programs, we're gonna merge with the programs of nature. That's where we're going. Anyway. Until then, let's look at monkeys playing video games with their thoughts.
Adara Nessa said, so this is the free will to return to the source. Bart, we see your question. Yetzi has more questions. Raina Chess had a funny comment about Elon Musk. Parrot Girl, Deborah, everybody, Julie, Francine, Spencer. Thank you all for being here. We want KL123. We saw the question too. Thanks everyone for joining the conversation. We are in such an important and special time right now. We are really like when monkeys kind of became human, so to speak. We are in that process. It's happening now. We're going to talk about it week after week, explore just by looking at things that are going on in the news. We're using that as examples to try and open up all of these concepts through this ancient wisdom. It's been great to be together. The energy is awesome. The chats are great. Thank you, Chris, behind the scenes. Thanks again, Asaf. Another fast hour on Thursday afternoon together.
All right. Let's merge with a song.
Bye, everyone.
To take our first breath, to take our first action, to be alive on what is left, to float above the light, just to ask, to be in love with you and watch it from the outside. I wanna do what you do, just to run in a field that is blessed, and to come home with you and rest, just to hunt in a field that is blessed, and to come home with you and rest.
Masked up, gotta block the call. Masking up my heart from egoistic thoughts. Learning all the lessons that this pressure gave us. Wanna save myself, I gotta save my neighbors. Slowly recognizing egoistic nature. Showing us connection is the only savior. We gon' come together, plow these fields of hatred. All is one with sowing seeds of love relations.
You shatter these walls, unsettle this heart from the chains of time. Then we soar through oceans in the sky. Oh, through your cold, to be in love with you, watch you with a bird's eye. See the world is built with you. Just to run in a field that is blessed. Then to come home with you and rest. Just to hunt in a field that is blessed. Then to come home with you and rest.
Only love can save us. Viruses, the hatred, unity gon' vaccinate us. True immunity from all the things that separate us.